and hence we bring to you the unheard stories from the boardrooms, from the pillars of good governance, may it be the CEOs, the CXOs, the promoters, the independent directors, or the women directors who play a very crucial role. Mentor by Board today is a platform which is known to the Finance Minister of India, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman. We host various events, coffee meets, various learning sessions to keep you upgraded and in the network of the learning zone. So the blogs, videos, coffee meets are various attractions on the platform of Mentor My Board. You all can log into the platform of Mentor My Board at www.mentormyboard.com. And in the pursuit of building such better governed boards, we are on a mission to bring a community of 1 lakh directors on the platform who will learn, interact, and unlearn themselves on the platform. With this sole motive, we bring to you the unheard stories from the boardrooms. And today, I am very happy to welcome with us CS Yashree Dixit. Welcome, Yashree.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So, Yashree is a fellow member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. Apart from that, having a qualification in the Master of Commerce, that is MCOM, and completed her doctorate in analysis of corporate governance practices of selected Indian companies at GLS University, Ahmedabad. She is also pursuing LLB from DT Law College, Ahmedabad. She has worked as a practicing company secretary at Yashree Dixit and Associates and dealt with the formation of companies, secretarial audit, IPR related works, insolvency and bankruptcy, so on and so forth. She has an enriching experience in teaching in business and corporate law, corporate governance and management at the undergraduate and the postgraduate professional levels. Her area of specialization is corporate law, IPR, and corporate governance. She has conducted various webinars, seminars on intellectual property rights with various institutes at the national and the international level as well. She has a MOOC expert faculty member at Gujarat University. She has taken various sessions on DTH channel at the Educational Multimedia Research Center, Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. She has received the Top 100 Global Women Inspiration Award (GWIA) from ICANN Foundation, Jaipur, and the Women Managing Directors of the Year Award from GSR Foundation, New Delhi. Yashri, that was an comprehensive, I guess, an introduction, I feel. And we are so delighted to have you here with us for this Boardroom Talk series.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the introduction.
All right. So, Yashri, I would love to know from you that what are some of the most pressing corporate governance challenges that the Indian companies are facing today, and what are the strategies that can be employed to, address them?
Okay. So, regarding the challenges portion, number first one point that is the diversification of board. In India, most of the listed companies are again running through the family business. So they are not required to appoint independent directors through the another person like the male and female members who are the good corporate boards who have the skills and qualifications. So in that case, the challenges part they are not indulged into the more independent directors in the corporate rooms and in the board. So this is a one more challenges. Second challenges again there are the more upcoming challenges in the SEBI LODR regulation and in the Companies Act 2013. So incorporating all these challenges in the companies is a little bit difficult part because nowadays within a 24 hours you need to intimate the SEBI and also the BSC. So again, it would be very difficult to intimate each and everything within a 24 hours or 12 hours. So this is again the challenging part of the company. Third one about the portion of the auditor's report. We have seen the issues we are facing with the related party transactions, and the auditors qualifications report that some of the auditors are not giving for the same. Some of the companies are not giving this related party transaction status. So I think so these are the challenges that they are facing during this last years or last 3 financial years, and SEBI has come up with the so much penalty for the same. So this all are the challenges, major challenges faced by the companies. Now, how to redress all these challenges? Number first, if the company is having the good vision and mission for long-term business of the companies, they have to be appoint a good board in the company, women independent directors who have the good qualification, exposures for the same profile. They don't have to appoint for the purpose of the seating fees or just for the name purpose women independent directors, but they need to appoint such kind of a board that they have to provide good advisory services in the compliance in that particular the successive planning of the company. So they have to mitigate this thing. Second one portion regarding the related transaction details. So they have to be first of all to take the approval from the audit committee. They need to check that all these transactions that they are taking, they have to take the approval from the audit committee chairpersons. They are the purview of the companies related parties or not, because might be possible companies are doing but the members are not aware for the same. So this is a major issue. So first take to approval from the audit committee, need to disclose each and every thing from the SEBI portal, and also disclose each and every information to the shareholders. Third portion about the risk management committee. The third important challenge is faced by all the companies. Nowadays, everyone are seeing that the more risk management about the cyber securities. So the data hackers are again increasing day by day. So company have to be a risk management policies in that the organization. They need to take care of all the legal risk, cyber security risk, or all our risk associated with the particular listed company. They have to frame a proper policy, they have to frame a proper committee who are doing these activities, checking informations whether they are doing this proper risk management redressal mechanisms have or not, cyber securities mechanism have or not, because data is most important for any company. If data is hacked, then how they have to come up with the backup data and everything. So they have to frame the committee, risk management committee, with the proper members in that. They have the knowledge about IT person must be required in that committee. So they have provide the advice of cyber security system. So these are the major challenges focused by the companies nowadays, and they have to come up with this proper redressal system.
So, as I take from your words, there are 3 points that you mentioned. One is about appointing good women independent directors on the boards who have that kind of knowledge. The second is the risk committee that you mentioned and the role of the auditors that you mentioned in it, that they need to be clear in the report that they are sending or sharing, right? So these are 2 or 3 points that you mentioned about in the entire discussion. But during this discussion, I could also sense that there is an importance of gender diversity and inclusivity in the corporate governance, right? And the efforts or the research that you've been involved into to promote these values. So how do you feel, or what do you see, how women are prepared for these kind of roles? Because not everyone can be a CS and join the board, or not everyone can be a CA and join the board, right? So there are women from diverse backgrounds who are today experts in their own fields and would wish to join the boards. So how is it that your research has come out on these kind of gender diversity perspective and the role diversity, in fact, not in terms of the gender, in terms of male and female, but the gender but the diversity in terms of roles of the women that they are playing today?
Okay, that's a good question. Again, I have done my research on corporate governance, and I have this insertions of the women independent directors in the board. I have also come up with the one research paper that the women independent directors with the corporate governance aspects. So, for your answer, that is. I have seen and I have the record of the Deloitte report that they are saying only the 12.85 percentage women in the board in the 2016 and 18.11% of women independent directors in the board in the year 2021. Maybe 20% in 2022 or 2023. So you can see the ratio is only the 20%. So what is the issues behind that? Why women independent director in the board? Out of this 20%, I can say 8 to 10% women are just for a namesake. Only the 10% women are actually working and providing guidance and advice to the board. The main issue behind that, there is a gender diversity, as you see, because women cannot speak a much in the board. Maybe they have not knowledge about the law, not knowledge about the companies. Sometimes I have seen, I have taken the interviews of women ID, in that they have not knowledge about what the company is working. They are not concerned about the policy, they are concerned about the seating fees. So I'm requesting to each and everyone who wish or want to appoint the board in any company, they have the good knowledge of at least the compliance, not for going with the namesake or for the seating fees. Now how you have to resolve this issue? You will learn the corporate governance books, you will learn the law, because as you said that each and everyone cannot become a CS, cannot become a CA or a doctorate. So how you can appoint in the board? Have to be a experience for some good boards. You have to get a knowledge from the good books like the corporate governance books. You should have the idea about what the recent corporate governance going, what the presenting law, what is the exactly law of compliances about the income tax. Little bit you have the knowledge must be required. How you can help them in the board, it is must be important. So you should be read, you should be participate in the decision making must be required. Why only the 20%, not for a 80% women in the board? Because every time they not want to participation in the decision making, they have to not good advice to the board. They don't come with the reading before the board proceeding with the start. So this all are the major issues which I have faced. So all these women independent director wish to appoint, you can appoint in the good board. But yes, must the knowledge, experience and reading must be required before appointing any good board. Because nowadays risk is must be there in any company, either private, public or a listed companies. So you have to read the financial statements, AOA, MOA, what's the object of company, then you can proceed with the appointment. Then after this issues with the gender diversity, which will be easily resolved, because only the one woman independent director required in the board and other members are the male. So always like only one female and other 10 to 12 are male. So how you can give the ideas, this is the most important. Yes, nowadays the board is also listen the female voice. It is not a that female voice is not considered, but you should participate. You should come with the good advices. So your role is must be important.
And even if I would add here, to your point, being alert about the recent trends in the industry, that you are an independent director on board of that company in which the company is in which industry. So being updated about the industry, not only nationally but also internationally, the international perspectives that you bring to the table are really helpful, and then that is how you can add value to the booth. So totally agree, Yashri, to what you're saying. So here goes my next question to you. So how has your background in the corporate law and the intellectual property law intersect, and how does this knowledge benefits your research and the teachings that you do for the various institutes?
Okay. So corporate governance is a different law and intellectual property rights is a different law. But while looking into the current scenario, intellectual property rights is playing a vital role in the economy. So IP assets is a most important intangible assets in the company, as we all are aware. Rarely 25% of companies have a prepare the IPR policies or IP policies in that company. Intellectual property rights covers trademark, copyrights, patents, design, the trade secrets, and various other things. So very the few companies have aware that the must require IP policies. They will take the royalty from this, and must be at the time of the valuations must be required for the goodwill and the trademark patent and the trade secrets. So IP play a major role in the corporate governance, but very few of are aware for the same and focusing on the same. Second important point that for the successful business operation, IP assets must be required. So they have to frame the policy, they have to consider, they have to firstly take the trademark on that particular name. Very the few companies are concerned for the same, the big corporates like the Reliance, Adani, and they have taken the trademark for the same. But very rare companies again focusing on the same part because the governance are also there. They have to compliance with the rule because it's a part of your assets. Particular industries, I am talking about the pharmaceutical industries and the IT industries. They always come up with the new ideas and new medicines, so they have always concern about their patent portion, especially in the pharmaceutical, because COVID-19 came, and then we know there are so many vaccines which came with the same. So they have taken patent on the same, they have applied for the patent, they are policies for the IP assets. So this is a good part. But apart from other industries like the textile industries or the textile or tiles industries or constructions, they are not much focusing about this IP assets in the company. So they have prepared such a kind of policy for the business succession of the company.
That's amazing. That's nice. Thank you so much for sharing this. So, could you share a few examples of your most memorable experiences with us when you were presenting a research at the international conferences in India, and what were the key takeaways from those events?
Okay, so I have write a various research paper regarding the corporate governance portion because I did my PhD in the corporate governance. So international research paper I write on again the women board directors in the boardroom. In that case, I have give my advice to everyone that there are again only the 20% women in the board. We have a good opportunity to serve in the board. We have to go to the market to meet the people, then opportunities are there, but we have not exercised this opportunity. You just say the 20% are there in my research, and I have come out that 80% chances are there, and everyone has except this, yes, only 20% female in the board. In the top boards, if we have seen, only the 15 females are there in the boardroom of Reliance or SBI, or so other boards are there. So there are apart from that, there are so many other boards have, but we have the opportunity, we have to read with these things. So there is a various market is with us, so we can do with the same. Now in my research I have come out that the most important thing, that woman independent directors role in the boardroom. I have find out in my research that only the 25 to 30% are actually giving advice, other are for the sake of name landing and for the sitting fees. So I've come out with the same. So this is a true scenario, so everyone has to be accepted this point. Some of time what happened that in the interviews with the other woman ID, that they have said that they are not allowed to participation in the decision making, only the male driven boardrooms are there, so they are not allowed. So this all are the excuses, or you can say the boards are there. So this is again the drawback for the same. So benefits and drawbacks are always same in my research, but 20% are there, 80% journey is with us. And most important thing here I would like to say in the research article, that IPR on the corporate governance and women boardroom published in the Times of India, and they have said that this company said 2013 has come in the year 2030. Today we are in 2023, and independent directors appointment and reappointment period for a 5 years and 5 years for a 10 years. So after 10 years you will not be reappointed in the same board. So you can amazing that there are so many opportunities with us to appoint in a good boardrooms, and replacings are there. So 2024, while they are resigning all the ID women directors who have completed that 10 years, so in the good boardrooms our opportunities are still there. Open the doors and go there and take the participation in the same.
That
So
is
this
so
is my
nice. That is so nice.
received.
And I remember our Honorable FM Nirmala Sitaramanji also mentioning that, there are, she could not find good women leaders who can take up board positions. And this she came out in public in the Economic Times. And, there was a press article written on this entire statement of hers that, she could not find good, capable women in the board positions. That is where it triggered our instance as well, that we are already serving and we are already hand holding women directors at Mentor My Board, and hence we reached out to her to invite her to the women directors conclave that we did last year, on the 16th of September. With this, I would also like to share that this year again we are hosting the Women Directors Conclave on 15th of December at the Bombay Stock Exchange, and would love to invite all the lovely women, all the board leaders to attend the same. Learn, unlearn, relearn your, best practices which are followed in the industry. Keep yourself updated, keep yourself visible so that you get those board positions. Because I very evidently remember our Honorable FM ma'am during her speech, she mentioned, that the same women directors are being appointed again and again over various boards, and they have an eye, and they want this number to decrease. They want more women to fall in that pool of women leaders and directors, so that they can give those opportunities to various women leaders and not to the same women who keep on repeating the board positions again and again over years. So yes, Yashri, I very well relate to what you are saying. With this, I have a next question for you. So, what inspired you to pursue a career that combines teaching, it combines research, legal practice, and how are these aspects reinforcing each other in your work? And how do you manage your work life balances with these?
Okay, so again a good question. So right now I am with the three aspects. Number first that you are saying legal, second is a research, and the third one that is a teaching. Number first, that is come with this research portion. I allow to do the research on the corporate governance aspects and what is exactly going on. Not only the corporate governance, but on only the aspects of IPR, intellectual property rights, and also the insolvency and bankruptcy code also. So also writing research papers, articles in the national and international journals, ICSI journals, and etc. So by doing this research, I would love to know that you should learn that what is the exactly market scenario, what the companies are doing, whether the companies are fully complied or are not. All this law that they are come up with this new regulations, whether they are complied with the same, whether the companies are actually doing this, or composition of audit committee, nomination, remuneration, and appointment of independent women directors or not. So doing this research, you will able to know what are the practicalities of the corporate. Now implementing the same in the legal aspects, because I'm a practicing company secretary, so dealing with the legal and practical issues in the management. I have the various methods of the operation and mismanagement in the corporate board. So I would like to say that while doing this you will learn to say that how this operation and mismanagement affect to the board. Board is also play a vital role in the corporates. So if board is not proper, then your company will not sustain for the same. How this cheatings and frauds doing by the one directors to the another's, while the signing with the financial statements and resigning from the other directors, and the so many issues in last 3 years after COVID I have seen for the same, and again the going on. So legal aspects I learned from the same, and teaching I love to teach the MBA students, ICSI students for EDP and final label, and members also ICI, ICSI, and ICWI. By looking this all information from my research and legal, I will share all this information to my student. So not only for reading these books, because books they can read easily. I don't want to read again these sections again and again, because they will not easy to understand this section. So I will correlate all my practical experience with this case study, with the real life examples of so many corporate non compliances are there. So this will be useful in my career, and everyone should learn for the same, that how you should correlate with the research and your legal aspects, and your giving this all this sharing knowledge to students and the members. Because I have seen nowadays, not everyone is reading a newspaper, not everyone is much more focusing about the governance, what we are facing, what we are issuing. So while sharing with my informations to them, so they are surprising, oh really this happens. Because recently I said this one article on good governance, on women boom on corporate governance. Nobody is aware that the 2023 10 years is completed, and so many opportunities are women are the same. So you need to read the newspapers and having the knowledge about legal office of the company policy.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing these insights. Drawing from what you have just mentioned, so during your research, you would have, actually gone to many companies. You would have spoken to many boards, right? And during this interaction, you would have happened to understand some of the pain points of the boardrooms, or from the point of view of the women leaders on the boardrooms. So, if you would have advised, if you share some experience where you would have advised some board, and that would have helped them evolve in a better way. So if you can share one of your experiences, one or two of your experiences, we would be really happy to listen to it.
Okay. So in PhD, I have to do my pilot survey. So in that pilot survey, I have meet a few company secretaries from the good corporates, and also the independent directors in the boardroom. So I've taken interview of 10 to 20 participants are there. So I've taken the interviews of the same for my preparing my questionnaire, because I need to ask these questions from the CS and such other CA, all the legal persons are there. So
True.
while during this interviewing with the same, I got to know that very the less companies are conducting the actual board meeting. They are again doing on such a board papers only, or just sending the notice and not doing the actual. So this is a major drawback. Secondly, if I can say, the participation of women independent directors in the management is a very less at that point of time in 2021, because I cleared my PhD at 2021. So at that time I researched from 17, 18, 18, 19, and 19, 20. So I got to knowledge that the very less companies are properly accompanied with all the laws, rules and regulation, not participations by the women management in the board, and not diversification of the board. So I advise them that you must hire some good women in the board. You have allowed to participation in the board. You have to ask their experience, their knowledge, their contribution to the board. So all this my major experience with their interviews. Secondly, important thing that I would like to share, the board systems in the very less companies have a proper board systems and procedures. Just they have doing this for 20 years, just copy pasting the minutes. So you all are aware that 4 meetings must be required in the listed companies for an adoption of this unaudited financial results. So they are just doing this board meeting for the same purpose. No further discussion will be required, no further the succession planning in that company, no proper system, no proper vigil mechanism, not having a good risk management in the system. So all these issues I came to know from this corporate size, and this information I'm sharing with you.
That is so nice. So we keep on talking to promoters as well, right? So we not only train independent directors, we also handhold the promoters. We also handhold the startup directors, etc. So once, while speaking to one of the promoter directors, he has a company of 100 CR plus turnover, and he was mentioning the same thing, that I am thinking of getting listed in next 2 years, but I don't know how will I have a friendly board, but I am not accountable to someone, and I don't know how people would perceive when they come to my board. I mean, the independent directors would perceive when they come to my board. So I want to get ready for those kind of interactions, and though I want to imbibe those understandings from now on, so that when I say that my company went through a process and now it is listed, I at least have someone to share this journey with. I'm not alone. I This friendly board does not work for me. So many a times it does happen that the promoters are fearful that what happens if I take on independent directors on boards, or maybe they are not aware about what kind of value input the independent directors would be able to provide them when they come on the boards. So it is very important for the promoters as well to be trained on their roles, as much as it is important for the independent directors to be aware, to be updated, and to be vigilant enough in the corporate governance systems. So Yashri, it was really a very nice interaction with you. But just before we end, I would love to know what are your few you can say key mantras that you would want to share with all the viewers who are listening to us today. What is it that you feel that you really believe on in the corporate governance that should work for everyone?
Okay. So my mantras regarding the good corporate governance, number one point, you should be adherence by the law, compliance with all the rules and regulation. Nowadays, SEBI are much stricter. If you are not complying with any sections, then much of the heavy or hefty penalty for any companies. So you should be aware about. You have the good team. First of all, the good team of the lawyers, CAs, CAs, independent directors. If there is a no good team in the board, then 100% your board should not be having a good planning. You should not work because within 2 years you will be stuck because so many compliances are there. So you have a good company secretary, compliance officers, or the good board, so they should advise for the same. As recently we have seen that the cyber security fraud of the AIMS, again the AIMS data is hacks and various other companies are hacking nowadays. You have the good policy, risk management policy. You have the board of IT person that they should take care that no one, because your data is most important. If entire data is corrupted or hacking by someone else, and difficult to retrieve all this data from someone else. So again, it's difficult. So you should have the policy of risk management policy and internal control system. That's a board should be the strong. Number third point, diversification on the board. That as I said you the earlier, all the boards are here must require the good profiles in the board. There should be addition in the planning. There should be addition in your management system. It will be helpful for the succession of your business vision and mission. Number fourth point, you should be must updated with the current law, rules, regulation. What are the current affairs? What the exactly the governance? Why we have seen that the Byju's again not working properly, and so many directors are resigning, and so many issues in some other companies too. I have seen in last 3 years after COVID, I am handling the IBC matters also. So in that case, I've seen because of this non-corporate governance and not handling the companies because of the huge debts and not having the good board, the companies are going into the insolvency portions. So don't just ruin these companies into this IBC. You have to be a proper plan after 5 years, 2 years. Be sit with your management plan as well as ask them what's your viewpoint. Not just doing or following MD's decisions. Participation of all independent directors and other directors must be required. After that, your success must become. Otherwise, success is not only getting by only the one person. It will be from entire team working with day and night, and they have to come with the solutions and the proper regulations. Those companies are not working properly regarding the listed companies. Again, SEBI has come up with the everyday new circular that this information required, you need to intimate them. So each and every information are aware with the SEBI. So if one information is misplaced by any persons, then you are reliable with the same. So don't pay heavy penalty, just focus on the good corporate governance system. Hire some good professionals, those who can advise for this better role in the board for their planning and succession of your company.
That is so nice. Thank you so much, Yashree. And I clearly remember here, once we were speaking to Miss Savitri Ben Parekh, who is the company secretary of Reliance now, and she mentioned that, if you feel that compliance is a burden, you try doing non-compliance and you understand what kind of burden it is. So it is very important and essential for us to focus on the good governance as well as the compliance, which is a part of good governance, under the corporate governance. And a holistic approach towards corporate governance is always a better, better idea to go with. So, with this, we end our talk here, Yashvi. Thank you so much for joining us for this boardroom talk, sharing your wonderful insights, your research work, and all the best to the future endeavors that you're going to take up.
Thank you so much, ma'am.